There's traffic that you control, there's traffic you influence, and then there's traffic that's totally out of your control. And that's the last point that we're going to be talking about. To build your presence, and this is really especially important for the people in your community that don't even know that they don't know you. And that is, you've got to get people talking about you. This is what's often called public relations. Here's the sad truth, Pastor. People don't trust the church right now. Not to say that they really ever trusted the church, but the church used to be a place where like, hey, yeah, this is an honest guy. He goes to church. Now, that guy goes to church. He's not an honest dude. He's putting on a mask. He's pretending to be someone else. He's using the church to rub elbows and get authority so he can get more money out of me. Or that pastor's of a church, oh, I know what kind of person that is. He's holier than thou, hypocritical. People don't trust the church right now. In fact, when people pay us and we do branding for churches to help them get their name out there, half of the job that we do and have found a lot of success with is debranding your church from other churches. Okay? So you must break that barrier. Instead of people saying, oh, that's a church, cool, we now have to get them to say, oh, that's a church unlike the other churches that I've heard about. And I hate that I have to say this. And that's why I want to see 1 million churches become the cornerstone of their community, because that means I can trust them now. Because our community is so reliant on that church. The good of the community is so reliant on that church. And right now, if you go on social media, search hashtag pastor, search hashtag church, whatever, you're going to see video after story after tweet of allegations of pastors falling, of churches. I mean, even right now, there's a big Twitter war among church leaders, and where they're like, hey, I know we hear a lot about the pastors falling, but how about the congregation falling and failing to support the pastor? Hey, I get it. I feel you. But it's more public discourse of hanging out our dirty laundry. That, yeah, the pastors suck, but guess what? The congregation sucks too. Who wants to be a part of that? We need to stop airing out our dirty laundry. Okay, we see this with marriage and couples, right? We don't air out our dirty laundry. But, you don't post about how your wife's pissing you off, and you certainly don't hope your wife is posting about how you're failing to do your duty as a husband. But yet, when it comes to churches, oh yeah, pastors suck. Well, the congregations suck. Well, the deacons suck. Guys, people don't trust the church, and we're not helping them any. And maybe you're not doing any of this, but many other churches are. And so we must take action to get in front of people to break these barriers. For them to say, you know what? I thought I knew what the church was about, and I still don't trust churches. But Pastor Victor seems like an actual pretty cool dude. How do you get them to say that? Okay? First of all, when you're just posting podcasts about your church message, no one's walking around saying, I wish I could listen to another podcast. I wish I could listen to another sermon. I haven't heard a sermon since I was in my grandma's church. I wish someone would just give me. No one is searching for sermon. The only people searching for sermon podcasts are other Christians. Okay. So that's not the avenue to take. When I talk about get people talking and get in front of new people that don't even know they don't know you, this is what we call public relations. And this is basically getting in front of new audiences. So the really what this comes down to, there's no special formula. There's no special step ladder that you have to take. It's just find who your church is equipped to serve. Find out who those kinds of people are listening to. And then you just have to go find that person. For example, if you're in an impoverished community and people have the people that you're called to serve have a lot of money problems, then maybe what I try to find out is who are they listening to figure out how to handle their money. Now, I, as a pastor, can go and use that avenue to share my insights, to share what does the Bible say about money, how should a married couple handle money, how do you plan for your, maybe you've got some money experience, maybe you've come out of debt yourself. And you go alongside whoever's hosting that podcast, running that blog, publishing that magazine, and just say, hey, can I write an article? Can I do an interview with you? And now You're getting in front of an entirely new audience that you're equipped to serve, that are in your community, because you know your community, and saying, hey guys, here's how we approach it. And then when you provide value to that community, now they're talking about you. And they're not talking about you in, this is just another church that I don't care about, probably don't actually care about me. They just care about my wallet. Instead, they're saying, this church has actually got a good head on its shoulder. Like, I actually followed through one of their tips, and hey, we've got a few extra bucks in the bank at the end of the month. What else are they right about? Let me go check out, what else they got going on in their church. Doesn't happen that easy. You're going to have to make more appointments. They're going to have to read about you in the news, do press releases. It's your first vacation Bible school in 2 years since the lockdowns. Put a news article out about it. Hey, this church is actually doing something. Cool. Right? So it's about getting in front of your audience. And when you get in front of these audiences, this is the opposite of an echo chamber. It's so cool because you're getting in front of people that don't even know that they don't know you. People don't know what they don't know. Right? And so you can get in front of these new audiences and build likability and build trust and build authority. Because you're kind of being referred by someone they already trust, right? Like, people come to church because they're invited, okay? And I'm like pulling my hair out because it seems like sometimes I'm the only church marketer, and Church Marketing University, Ryan Wakefield. It's like I'm not hearing this enough. People go to church because they're invited 80% of the time. 4 out of 5 new guests come because they're invited. And church marketing should not replace that invite. It should enhance it. And public relations enhances that so much, Pastor, because imagine if your people, instead of, hey, do you want to come to church with me? What church do you go to? I go to First Baptist, whatever. I've never heard of that church. Must be like every other church. Versus, I go to First Baptist, whatever. I've heard of that church before. Does your pastor do podcasts? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he was on that podcast. Seems like a pretty cool dude. Let me check it out. Right? That church invite should not be the first time that they've heard of your church. They should have heard about you or heard about your pastor from some other way. Seen them in the news in a good light. Seen them in an article, been talked about by someone. Maybe you win an award. Maybe you crossed a threshold. You fed 2,000 people this Thanksgiving. Press releases, interviews, guest articles, whatever you have, are such an important barrier-breaking avenue that we now have that can build your presence. And there is some strategy, there is some formulas that you can follow to book more appointments, to get more meetings, to get more interviews. Because again, it's one of those things you got to reach out to 100 people just to talk to a few. It is what it is. But this is how you get people talking to build your church presence. So when people hear, that church, I know that church, I've heard of that church, they seem pretty cool. So when you make that invite, when you put out that Facebook ad, when you show up in Google search, they're just a little bit more trusting to take that next step with you, Pastor.